This video is sponsored by Squarespace. I recently hit 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and that is basically a dream come true ever since I first discovered what YouTube was when I was 12 or 13. I've always had that goal in mind. And I can confidently say that making videos on YouTube has changed my life. For the obvious reasons like making money, but also there are a few unmeasurable factors that I don't think people consider when thinking about YouTube that have also benefited other aspects of my life. I thought this video would be helpful for aspiring YouTubers and people thinking about starting. Coming from someone that is still very much on that journey, I haven't figured this out. I don't think I'll ever figure it out. I don't think it's possible to figure it out. But hitting 100,000 subscribers is a pretty cool milestone, so I thought let's share some lessons that I've learned over the recent years, and hopefully this helps. For context, I think it could be useful if I share my history with YouTube very quickly. When I was 13 or 14, I started making Call of Duty videos. Like many teenage boys in their bedrooms, they thought they were going to be part of FaZe Clan. Unfortunately, that never worked out. Then I moved on to making skateboard and BMX content. I was skateboarding for a number of years. That became the bedrock to me understanding how to make videos properly, understanding camera gear a little bit more, and the YouTube space in general. I started to make a few £100 in AdSense. So as a teenager, maybe 16, 17, 18, I started to figure out what YouTube could potentially be. But as we grow up, we kind of all stopped riding BMX and skateboarding and stuff, so I stopped making those videos. And then in late 2019, as I was working as a videographer, I became increasingly more passionate about photography. And since then, that was 4 or 5 years ago, I am now still making videos about photography every single week, and I'm absolutely loving it. So that is my kind of history with making videos on YouTube. I want to start this video by saying that it doesn't feel like it's been until the last 18 months or maybe even 12 months where I've made a success of it. And I know success is different for everyone, but success for me would be making good money, getting paid to travel, great opportunities in campaigns that I'm involved in, and obviously meeting wonderful people in the community and building an audience of dedicated people that want to watch the videos week in, week out. There's a few variables to what success is on YouTube, but yeah, the last 12 months seem to be the best 12 months, and hopefully it continues to grow. But that has been 5 years of uploads on this channel about photography. And for 3 years, I was kind of just shouting into the void with no one really watching. So keep that in mind. Also, I just want to apologize very quickly if my throat sounds a little bit croaky. That's just how I woke up this morning. So let's start with one of the most obvious benefits to making YouTube videos before we go into some more meaningful things, in my opinion. And that obvious benefit is making money. If anyone's watched any YouTubers, I think it's clear that there's a chance to make some serious money and build a business from it if you so choose. And the first thing I want to mention about this is to reference one of my favorite phrases, and this is to do with the content itself. Short form content funds your ego, long form content funds your bank account. I've had TikTok clips get millions of views, and that's achieved nothing for me other than a few thousand followers, which also doesn't really mean too much, compared to a long form YouTube video that only has thousands of views that has ended up being a very big payday. To keep this brief, I just think short form content lacks substance. I don't think anyone really feels very good after watching any short form content. And if your viral clip is just one scroll away and requires 3 seconds of someone's attention, how valuable is that anyway? Building a YouTube audience with longer form content is far more powerful, and even just after a few thousand subscribers, you're starting to build a loyal audience, and that's worth something. When my monthly views started picking up from 10, 30, 60,000 views, that started funding some of the fun in my life. With just a few £100 in AdSense payments, that paid for my coffees, my train tickets, my days out in London. And I think that's so underrated, because when a lot of people think about making money on YouTube, they think, oh, I want to buy a penthouse in LA and I'm going to own a Lamborghini. Let's just be realistic for a second. Let's bring it down a notch. If you can make some videos and that pays for the simple things in your life, I think we're winning. So that could be your first goal as a beginner YouTuber. Don't try and aim for 100,000 subscribers within a couple of months. Just try and get a nice couple of AdSense payments and just bring the views in a little bit. And I think you can start seeing the benefits right away. And then as the channel grows to hundreds of thousands of views per month, brand deals start coming in, sponsorships are great, you can sell your own products on your website. I even sold a book at the end of last year with my photography. So plenty more money-making opportunities happen as the channel grows. And I don't think the size of my channel, if that was just an Instagram profile or a TikTok profile, I probably wouldn't be making any money. But as a channel with 100,000 subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views every month, making money is not really an issue anymore. The main thing I want to say about making money on YouTube is that it just takes time and years, realistically, and don't start a YouTube channel with the hopes of making money from day one. I don't think that's a smart idea. Realistically, I think I only started getting half-decent brand deals at 50,000 subscribers, and only now at 100,000 subscribers is it like really paying off. But that took me 4 or 5 years of making photography content. So I just want people to be realistic about it. But back to my point earlier about making just a few £100, that could happen after a couple of months. And I think if that can start funding some of the fun, or at least pay for some of the simple video ideas you might have, I think that's great, and that's something to aim for in the early days. But then as the years go on, sure, you could potentially make some good money. Final point on making money on YouTube, and that is that I see having a dedicated audience and having this YouTube channel, for example, is like having an asset. Back when baby boomers bought a house for £5, unfortunately that's not the case for us anymore, but having a YouTube channel is that modern day investment, in my opinion. And when it starts to grow, brands will want to pay for it like an asset. Before we carry on with this video, I would just like to share with you today's sponsor, and that is Squarespace. I've been using Squarespace for years, way before they even became sponsors of this channel. And if you're a photographer watching this, or even anyone with a passion project that wants to take it a little bit more seriously, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to make that happen. I personally use Squarespace to host my portfolio of photography, sell digital products. I also write blogs and even a weekly newsletter. For example, I've created a blog page from the script to this video you're watching here. I know many people would prefer to just read my thoughts and ideas, so that was very simple and very easy to set up using Squarespace. I'll leave a link to that blog in the description so you can check it out. So why not at least take your passion project to the next level and start a free trial? After that, when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/MikeChudley to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Now let's get back to the video. Let's now talk about the opportunities YouTube provides, and this one might sound very similar to the making money section of this video, but sometimes things show up in life that are not just monetary. YouTube has been a gateway of experiences I never would have had if I didn't make videos. From brand collaborations to being part of cool projects to getting paid to travel, it's opened up a world that I was once only an observer of previously. And these opportunities have led me to meeting like-minded individuals, making really good friends over the years, and just overall having more access to things. These opportunities that come from YouTube will be different for everyone, and depending on your personality type, the things you kind of want to attract in life, and also the content you make, that will open up a world of opportunities that you might not have considered. And it's hard to articulate this because in my photography world, I've been a part of so many cool things because of the YouTube channel that I didn't even know were possible to happen. It's like YouTube has a roadmap of what might happen, you know, hit 100,000 subscribers, get sponsorship deals, make good money. There's a few obvious things that YouTubers do, but there are so many things that you haven't considered that just show up, and connections you might make that just make their way into your life because of having a YouTube channel. So don't discount the opportunities that you haven't considered. One of the most important aspects of growing a YouTube channel is consistency. And I'm definitely not the first person to say that. I feel like that's the number one piece of advice that beginner YouTubers get. You've got to be consistent, and it is true. But I want to go one step further than that, because being consistent with your YouTube schedule also leaks over into other aspects of your life. The best example I can give is back when I used to skateboard. If you were trying to learn how to kickflip, it's probably going to take 500 attempts, probably more, before you even land one. It's just pure persistence, practice, and consistency. Repetitions is the difference. And this almost becomes part of your philosophy, I think. Are you the type of person that sees something through? This level of consistency says something about your character. And YouTube has taught me a lot of things over the years, but the most important thing it's taught me is the power of being consistent. If you don't consider yourself a creative individual, then this point might not be for you. And if you're making videos on YouTube purely from a business or an analytical point of view, then maybe you won't resonate. But if you are a creative person, I hope this helps. Firstly, I recommend a video to watch called You Should Be a YouTuber by Neat on the Rocks. I'll share a link in the description for you to watch after you've watched this video, of course. The video dives into a lot of great detail about creating on YouTube, and one of the points he makes is how making money on YouTube interferes with the creative aspect. It's a very interesting perspective, and I highly recommend you watch it. For me, photography scratches my creative itch, and one of the reasons I think, like YouTube, is that the difficulty is perfectly balanced between really difficult and really rewarding. The whole creative process, from having an idea to writing it down to filming it to editing it to pressing upload, the whole process is enjoyable, especially when it's about something I'm passionate about, like photography. So if you are a creative person and your mind gets busy with lots of thoughts and ideas, YouTube gives you the permission to just make videos about whatever you want. I think it's a wonderful creative outlet, because I can guarantee whatever you're interested in, there is a whole community on YouTube that will resonate and relate with the things you have to say. YouTube being a creative outlet also now leads me onto a point I want to make about having to articulate your thoughts. Like I said earlier on in this video, for a long time, when no one is watching your content, you might feel like you're shouting into the void and getting no response. This is the period of time where you're trying to figure out what works, improving your videos and your ideas. You're being vulnerable by sharing your thoughts with the world. And honestly, creating anything, in my opinion, is a vulnerable thing to do, because in reality, you are in fact sharing something of yourself with everyone. Over the years, as I've made videos about photography, I've had to analyze my own thoughts and articulate them in a way that means it's digestible and understandable for the viewers to relate to as well. As I write a script, or at least make bullet points for videos, it's my job to tell the story as best I possibly can so that the audience feels something, or resonates, or is entertained, or educated. When I look at some of the best creators, I think a huge part of their success is their ability to convey a message. When they share an idea, how does it make people feel? I didn't leave school with particularly good grades. In fact, I was a pretty average kid. But over the years of making YouTube videos, I have definitely improved at sharing my ideas, presenting a message, and articulating my thoughts. I just think it's a great skill set to develop. Another benefit to making YouTube videos, which I don't think people really mention that much, is kind of wrapped in this idea of understanding people, maybe a little bit of psychology, and definitely marketing. Whether it's reading comments from strangers, or replying to a DM, or just building a community of people, and even through to video titles, designing thumbnails, writing scripts, you will improve and get better at knowing what works, what gets attention, what sparks interests, what words we should use, what words we shouldn't use. All of that is wrapped up in this catalyst of social feedback. Just because of the amount of videos I've made and the amount of comments I get and the amount of DMs I get, I've got such a wider perspective on the photography niche specifically. I now know things about people and the way the photography world works in a way that I might be oblivious to if I didn't make videos. A bit like YouTube providing opportunities for you, it provides you a perspective that I think a lot of people don't have. And it's almost all marketing and understanding what people are going to respond to and what people are interested in. And I have an idea, but then I have to think about how that can be presented in the best possible way. So very similar to my point about articulating your thoughts. I feel like because I've had no official marketing training or any official qualifications in that regard, I see myself as a pretty good marketeer and understanding how and what works on YouTube, just because of the sheer amount of engagement that it creates when you do make video after video. So yeah, don't discount the perspective that you will gain from making videos. This next point is less a benefit from making videos and more just a straight up recommendation. But if you're starting out in YouTube or you're already on your YouTube journey, I highly recommend getting in touch and surrounding yourself with other people making videos. I have multiple WhatsApp groups and Instagram DMs with a variety of YouTubers, all sharing thumbnail ideas and video ideas and editing tips and everything in between. It can be so helpful to get ideas from people actually doing the do, and not necessarily your uncle's brother down the pub giving you some YouTube advice. So if you do dive into YouTube, or you're already headfirst in it, surround yourself with other creators. It can be some of the best consultancy you ever have.